Fight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry Smooth. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And this little quick video is going to be about how logic is actually the main protagonist of what creates spookism. So when we get into the who, or the spookiness, or the weird things, or the eerie things, this is coming from the mind state of seeing things as they are, as is. For an example, let's say you have a emotional feeling and it make you do this kind of movement. It is what it is. For a person to indulge in that movement, it doesn't necessarily have to have a word, but it is what it is, and you can't debunk it if one person have that movement and another person didn't have that emotional state to be able to express that kind of movement. They may have a more stiff, sturdy emotional state, so that becomes their movement. Now, when you add logic to an example after it have already taken motion, here's where it becomes spookism. Because when we're already using our minds for things that is already used to be made for, we start using it for things it's not made for. Instead of it being used freely for what it's made for, it's used to dissect something that have already happened while doing the very same thing at the same time, being used what it's made for. So now it's being used how it needs to be used for the wrong things. And here's where it become one natural expression having multiple representations to it that never reach the original object or the original form due to the fact of logic. Now, logic can help with understanding, but logic can't help with just being. For an example, before we gave the term of the expression of love, the term love, it was just a way of being before we gave it a term. See what I'm saying? Now, once we start to give it a term, we have multiple different people doing multiple different versions of that expression. And then that expression can be easily persuaded or manipulated, never understood from its natural state, once all the lies, logic, laser, and all those linguistics, lactitude, and false unnatural directions get placed on it. So when a person needs to make up that makeup that we're calling an expression that we gave love to it, this puts a person in a perspective where now they have to go out and search for it and not know how to make it within themselves. So now people can use these things to make up fake jobs to get rich off of that matters none. So you can have a person that has no love in their heart use a characteristic that's false from the natural expression, call it their subjective love, start to get paid from that energy called love without even being a loving individual. And here's where it comes into utilizing life in a negative way, in reverse, implosion, unsatisfaction, in search for more, because you can't find it in how to make it in front of you and produce it so you become the source that can chop it up for other people, resources that they can have. This is how you are with the source, and you ain't someone that the force gotta be with, because the force gotta be with you for there to even be a force, a source in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So when we get into logic, this is why I always utilize logic against logic, because when I'm utilizing logic, it's against something that's already dead anyway. Fight fire with fire. Then you can have peace as an angel, because now you're separating from the whole situation at whole, because it can't attach itself to you anymore. So it's almost an aspect of understanding what logic is in its natural state, and how it can get the best of individuals to not understand the very root of woo is utilizing too much motherfucker logic for something that's actually natural. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart.